back to my channel. My name is Melody and welcome to my Simple Valley home. In today's video, I get to share with you guys how I decorate my mantle for spring. I love decorating my mantle, especially for any type of holiday season. Spring is one of my favorites. We're going to be using a lot of antiques, books, birds, ferns, and touches of pastel colors. So if you guys are curious on how I decorate this mantle, then keep on watching. To start decorating, I'm going to use my thieves cleaner, just get a nice clean surface ready for spring. I love this stuff. It is amazing, it's all natural, and it never leaves a residue. I'm going to anchor this space, and to do that I'm going to use my most recent thrifted window that I found. I usually use a mirror as a reflective item, so I thought the window would be a different take on that. I love the different detail, the rustic feel, the sage green, and the best part is the other side is white. Now let's create some layers, add some depth. To do that, I'm going to use this thrifted frame that I got from my LA vintage market. I just love the vintage details. It's very Victorian and the gold hues is perfect. This picture is actually from Etsy. I recently got it from a small shop. I will leave it in the description box down below if you guys are interested. They have beautiful botanical prints. Next, let's start filling in our empty spaces, and to do that I like to use books. These books are perfect because they have different textures and the same color hues as my picture frame, and it's very inexpensive. I've collected these over the years and they are just so perfect to have around in your house just to decorate with. Now to create a cute little element just to mimic kind of look a bookend, I'm going to use this corbel and just place it right beside it just to add a little bit of depth and texture over in that space. Kind of creating outside that box for my candlesticks, I'm going to use these wood balusters here. I got them from LA Vintage Junction. I think that they're so cool because they have that chippy feeling, they're very heavy and stately looking. They will just balance out this space perfectly. I always like to use 3 candlesticks on my mantle, so I had an extra one laying around. I got this from Joann's a couple years ago. I think it will look perfect with these white chunk balusters because it just brings a different texture, and so they kind of look like in the same family. These candles are actually from Michael's and they're very inexpensive. You can find them in the candle section, and they actually have a really cool flickering flame and they come on timers, which is perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and anchor the other space with more books and textures. This book is really cool because it has a little bit of a weave texture to it. I actually got this from my most recent thrift haul from LA Junction as well. Now you guys can stop here or you can add more layering, and I'm going to just keep going with more books just to create more height and dimensions with other items that I have to put on this mantle. Now that we got our separating texture and also height, I'm going to use this cute little bird that I got from the Rustic Farmhouse. I will leave their Instagram page linked down below. They have shopping on Instagram every Thursday, so this little cutie was a perfect find for my spring decor. Now I'm going to keep filling in the empty spaces on my mantle to create that texture. I'm going to use some terracotta pots that I got from LA Vintage Junction, cleaned them up, put some Spanish moss just for different texture, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in front of my books and just kind of angle it just to give it a little bit more height and dimension in this space. To add more glass, I'm going to use this blue vintage jar that I got from Long Beach Antique Market. It looks like a mason jar. It's just perfect for this space. Okay, so we're finished. Oh, I'm just kidding. We're not finished. We're actually going to make a really pretty arrangement with this blue glass jar. So that is the next step. So stay tuned for that. But I wanted to go over my mantle and what my thought process is, and also give you guys a couple tips and tricks on how to decorate a mantle. Things that I've learned over the years, and also Pinterest. So believe it or not, everyone learns decorating from Pinterest. I'm sure you guys can relate. So the first thing is to always never decorate uniform on a mantle. That is something that a lot of people do. There's nothing wrong with it, but I like to keep it different and creative. So to start off with, I elevated my jar because I want everything to be stacked up. So once we put our arrangement, it's gonna start here at the top. And then our eye is gonna work our way down to these candlesticks. And then our eye is gonna work our way back to this beautiful window. And then down again with the books and back up with the birdhouse. So that was one trick that I've learned from Pinterest, is to always have your eye go up and down when decorating. It just creates a story, creates consistency, and just makes it different versus your typical, arrangement on one side mimicking the other side, your standard, arranging. So another tip also that I've learned is to add lots of different types of elements and textures, and also decorate using the same color tones. Or you can have something involving the same color tones with a pop of something. So for example, all the same color tones with a pop of blue. And there's different textures. So I have books carry throughout. So those are the same textures and also the same color tones. Another texture is wood elements. So I have those in my candlesticks. Another wood element is this bookend, and another wood element is my white birdhouse. And then to create also a different texture and elements that's kind of the same is this bird. It's got that rusty texture that kind of draws your eye to this picture frame as well. And then I also use the same tones in this picture, the greens and tans. So that green kind of will pop also with the arrangement that we're gonna make. And also those creams from the flowers are gonna draw your eye with these candles as well. So it just, creates kind of a story. And I love to use the same tones, and I love using fillers that are different, that are not the same. So for spring, obviously we're gonna add a bird, and we're also gonna add lots of pottery with different types of greenery and fillers as well. So let's go ahead and create this arrangement. It's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna add some pops of colors with this just to bring in our pastels for spring. So let's get started on that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on making this arrangement. So the pastel colors that I chose this year for spring is obviously the blue, and then also I wanted to use a lot of lavender. I love lavender. I love these ones. These are actually from Hobby Lobby. They look so real, and I love that they come in different types of sticks, so that way it will be easy for us to arrange. So what I wanted to focus on is making this arrangement. I wanted to create your eye going up and then adding fillers. So the start with that we're going to use to create our eye going up are these, I guess you could call it vines with different types of flowers. And I just love this because it kind of reminds me of that first bloom for spring. I got these from Hobby Lobby. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this in the middle. So I like to put the drama, I guess you could call it, in the middle of the vase and then go from there. So obviously this is extremely tall. We could see if it will work, but I feel like it's a little bit too tall. So we're just going to bend the bottom just a little bit. Now this is a clear jar, so I'm gonna fill the bottom up with moss just to kind of, so that it hides those sticks. So I always like to start off my center part in 3. So that way it kind of gets it a little bit full and thick in the middle, so that way it's easy for us to do the fillers. So we're gonna go ahead and put the other 2. So here's the other one. Okay. So we got our, I guess you could call it thriller. So when I decorate arrangements, I do thriller, spiller, and filler. So this is gonna be our thriller, our drama. So I also wanted to add a little bit different texture of greenery. Sorry about that, these things are a little big. I really like these ones. I got this from Hobby Lobby as well, and I like the branches because it's just got some plain green. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down the middle and then just kind of intertwine it. Now, obviously we could just keep it like this, but I think it's kind of bland in my opinion. I want to add some thickness, some base to the bottom. So what we're going to do that is I'm going to have ferns. I love these ferns. These are from Hobby Lobby. And I picked up two different types. I picked up this one right here. And then I picked up this one because it's got a little bit of a mossy green texture. So we are going to go ahead and put these on the bottom here. So I'm going to probably start with my mossy green. So that way we can layer on the other green. So take this off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and layer on the bottom. And to do that, I'm going to kind of fold these in half. And I'm just going to tuck it right here. So it kind of creates that drape. I guess you could call that our spiller. And then we're going to do the other side. Same thing with this. And of course, we're going to take the tag off because we don't want tags in our arrangements. That's what scissors are for. Okay. And we're just going to work our way around. So sorry if you guys can't see me. These things are pretty big. That's a good thing because we want drama. As I continue on arranging my ferns, let me know if you guys enjoy these types of videos. Please hit that like button, and also if you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you part of my channel. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add another one. Another piece here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add this other greenery here to just kind of layer on top, just to kind of create those two different tones of green. So what I'm going to do is probably bend this a little bit less so that way it kind of comes on top of it just a little bit more. So there we go. See how this one kind of comes up a little bit taller than these bottom ones? So that's what I wanted. So we'll go ahead. We have 3 of these. So we'll do 3 on the other side too. So 1 right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick out my front part to have that kind of come out as well. So I feel like this right over here should be my front. Sorry, I know it's hard to see. So I'm gonna have this green one here, this green fern, up to the front. So, like so. Okay, so now that we got our thriller and our spiller, we are going to go ahead and get some fillers. So my filler I'm gonna use is again the lavender. So we're gonna go ahead and fill that in. So I got the lavender here. Another lavender. And one more, just to kind of fill that in. Now it's looking a little bit leggy, so we are going to add some type of texture to this, just to create a little bit something extra. So before I do that, I'm actually gonna go ahead and start filling this in with some moss because it's looking a little branchy on the bottom here. So I have some moss right here that I just had some leftover, and I think that that would be a good way to get rid of some of these branches, just to kind of make it look a little bit fresh. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stuff this in here, just to kind of cover up a little bit in the areas. Go ahead and do that here. See some of those twigs in the ground, so that's kind of cool that it's mimicking that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. I'm liking that. That looks super cute. So now let's go ahead and add a little bit something extra. So what I saw are these little guys, and I got these from Joanns. These are really cool because they kind of have that different, like almost like an onion look, or like pom-poms. They're definitely different, and I think they're really neat. And I wasn't intending on using these for this arrangement, but I needed something besides the twig look. So I got 3 of these, and I think this is enough. So we're gonna go ahead and just add that. And it kind of creates a little bit of different texture. So I like that. That looks really cool. So we'll go ahead and put another one. And then we're gonna go ahead and add one on this side. Just kind of right there. And then I'm actually gonna add one a little bit elevated up. So this is a cool tip for you guys. Whenever you wanna have an arrangement and you wanna add something that's kind of like your focal point, add 3 of them, and then take the other one and kind of tuck it in back, and then just do a little bit up high. So let's step back and see how that looks. I think I might do it just a little bit lower. Come on, little guy. There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and play with these just to kind of get them forward a little bit. All right, and I think that's it, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and set this on the mantle and see how it looks. It might be a little tall with the book, so I'm just gonna see how it goes. You never know how things turn out until you start putting things together. So we're gonna see if those books will elevate it too much or will be just perfect. So let's go ahead and go see. Okay, friends, here she is, all her glory. She's absolutely stunning. She is perfect for my spring mantle. I absolutely love her. She created that whimsical texture, the element that we needed for spring, just subtle pops of pastels that I used, such as the lavender. I love that I ended up using these pom-poms because it kind of mimicked the picture colors and tones and feels as well. I also wanted to let you guys know why I used this vase. Again, is to create elevation, because if I didn't have those books, then the ferns would be touching the candlesticks, and we wouldn't want that. We would want this own little section to kind of be aired out and its own story. I also ended up taking away one book just because it was a little bit too tall, so that created just the perfect height. And that gives you guys a really good trick and tip, because if you guys have a vase or anything that you absolutely love and you want to use, just stack some books underneath it to create your elevation, and it gives it something different and, you know, just some different texture. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I am so excited to share the rest of my spring decor with you guys in my spring home tour, so stay tuned for that one. Please feel free to DM me on my Instagram page at My Simple Valley Home, or you can leave a comment down below. Thank you guys again so much for visiting. I had so much fun decorating this mantle. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.